Hey Joe, it's that speed of light guy again. Morning Joe, morning from Australia. You are the last train out of the station. First one was Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, then I did Brian Cox, then I did Brian Greene, and then I did Simon Dan, asking them all the same question. Why is the sun directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse? I'll jog your memory a little bit. One of the people that likes the absurdity of photons, so here's you having a little chat, just 60 seconds worth or so.
25, look for the silver-haired folks. They'll remember, the later stages of the Second World War and early stages of the Cold War. I'll throw in a reference, just for them. The 20-somethings won't know, they won't care, they probably won't even get it, but I'll go buy it quickly enough that I offer the other community demographic in the audience something else. And this is my way, maybe it's a tennis match, I'm hitting the ball back and forth to different people. And that way I can take this body of knowledge that is the universe and have everybody share in it. Otherwise, I don't know that I can claim to be an educator.
Well, certainly you can claim to be an educator, but maybe you're not making the best use of your particular abilities. Your particular abilities that are unique to you are your humor and your fun, your jovial, along with being deep and philosophical,
Yes.
talking about very heady
I
things.
found that matter. People, like I said, people like to smile.
Yeah, they like silliness.
Yeah.
You're a silly dude. It's fun. I mean, for
I
a
guess
guy
I'll
who
take
talks
this as a
about,
compliment.
yes, it is a compliment. For a guy who talks about like really intense subjects, the nature of infinity.
Yeah.
And different kinds of infinities.
Oh,
and
you remember
different-
that?
Yeah, I remember
Some
everything.
infinities are bigger than other
Yeah,
infinities.
which is what? What are you saying? I'm not going to let you get away with this alien thing, though.
I hadn't ever heard, I can't do too much of certain voices, I just can't do it. So I just wanted to find a little clip that would remind you of who, what we're talking about. Infinity, what? Different infinities. Some infinities are bigger than others. What are you talking about? Infinity is infinity, isn't it? Anyway, Joe, so I've asked all the physicists and I can't get an answer, can I? This has been going on for coming up to 3 years now, right? Now, it's about the sun and it's about the light that it radiates. It's about the photon, right? The non-existence of photons, right? I'm not sure if you're probably familiar with this stuff because you're very knowledgeable and you talk to a lot of people. During a solar eclipse, Joe, right? Don't know if you've seen one. Here's a sweet spot on planet Earth, right? You're in that sweet spot, shadow, and you're looking up at the moon, and directly behind the moon, because that's what it's all about, is the sun. Now, you're seeing the sun around the moon, the sun's corona, right? At the same time as you're seeing the sun's corona around the moon, you are in the sweet spot shadow of the moon that is being cast by photons that have traveled for 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So it took them 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here to then cast the shadow. So why on earth is the sun still directly behind the moon? Where is the 8 minutes and 20 seconds gap? Where is the delay? There is no light delay. The sun and all of the stars radiate absolute light. There is no light delay. The moon is not blocking any photons. The moon is blocking the light source itself. And the light source is radiating absolute light with no delay. It's the only way a solar eclipse can play out the way it does, is with absolute light. if it were finite light that's traveling at 299,792 kilometers per second, let's put ourselves in that sweet spot. You have to rewind 8 minutes and 20 seconds because the photons that are arriving here, when these people are in that perfect sweet spot of the moon's shadow, those photons left the sun when planet Earth was where the people on planet Earth who are going to see the sweet spot were facing that way, 2.08 degrees. That is how far planet Earth turns on its axis, anti-clockwise, in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So, the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. Photons have just left the sun. Planet Earth is facing that way, exaggerated angle, but it's 2.08 degrees, and it's turning anti-clockwise. Everybody's getting excited. The other view is the moon is slowly covering the sun, right? And it's happening. It's turning. Photons are halfway. They get there. Bang! The shadow. Boom! Sweet spot. Freeze that frame. Right in that moment, planet Earth has turned into the photons that have been traveling for 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Shadow, beautiful, the moon perfectly positioned in front of the sun. Why is the sun directly behind the moon at the same time as photons are casting the moon's shadow onto planet Earth? There should be a gap of 8 minutes and 20 seconds between here and here. But there is no gap. There is no gap whatsoever. It cannot happen with finite light. A solar eclipse cannot play out the way it does with finite light. It's a slam dunk. It cannot, because they cannot line up. 2.08 degrees. That is how far planet Earth turns on its axis counterclockwise in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Knowing that, the photons, the shadow that the people find themselves in that moment, is being cast by photons that took 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get to the moon from the sun. So why is the sun still directly behind the moon? This thing is it's massive, right? And it's so blatantly obvious that I just don't think people get it, because it's too obvious, right? Now, relativity, light years, even the age of the universe, all of that stuff, it's all bogus, because light is absolute. There is no photon, there is no delay. An absolute light source will radiate its light as far as it's going to go at absolute speed. This bulb. Bang! I always say about 5 kilometers at night over the river. Somebody was facing this way and it was pitch black, and I went like this. 5 kilometers to 3 miles, give or take. You're going to see it further than 3 miles. Bang! Yeah, I can see it. This will radiate as far as anyone's going to see it as soon as I hit the button, like that. The bigger the light source, the further it will radiate its light at absolute speed. No delay. No, none of that. The bigger the light source, the more powerful it is. It behaves exactly the same as this. Same speed, but the size and power of the light source is what determines how far that light source radiates its light. Now, this is a slam dunk. because a solar eclipse simply cannot happen with finite light. I've sent this every time I've messaged or atted or hashtagged to Brian's and Neil. I've always sent you one as well, saying, Joe, pick this up, for crying out loud. Dude, light is absolute. There is no delay. Forget the Roma, forget the Wheatstone, forget the Bradley, forget the Fitzo. None of it happened. Light is absolute. There is no delay. And the solar eclipse, the cosmic event that we all get to share together. No curtains, no hustles. It's the moon, and the sun is directly behind the moon. How can that be? Where is the gap? Where is the delay? I assure you there is no delay. It's a slam dunk. If there were really photons traveling from the sun, taking 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here, you must have heard them say, if the sun went out, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Really? Like I said to the others, how is that possible? During the sweet spot moment of a solar eclipse, we are seeing the sun around the moon, the sun's corona. It's directly behind the moon, for crying out loud. That's what the eclipse is, isn't it? Where's the delay? Where is the delay? There is no delay. It's absolute light. The moon is blocking the light source, not photons that are raining down at 299,792,458 meters per second. No, sir. There is no photon involved. There's no room for a photon. The sun radiates absolute light. The questions I've asked are, why is the sun directly behind the moon during a solar eclipse? Why are people standing in 8 minutes and 20 second old photons right there at the same time as they are seeing the sun in real time? So where's the 820? It doesn't make sense. Of course it doesn't make sense, because there are no photons. Where exactly is the light delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds? There is no light delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's true. And this, look at the footage of any solar eclipse and tell yourself that there is a delay of 8 minutes and 20 seconds between that sun, that star on our doorstep, and the moon that is blocking it. Joe, pick it up. Pick the phone up, Joe. Pick the phone up. All right, that will do. Oh, that's good, that's close. I'd like to keep them at about 15. All right, we've got about a minute left. Joe, no word of a lie. Been looking at this, been screaming for a few years now, okay? This speed of light, relativity, light years. There's no such thing as a light year. If you see a light source in the night sky, you are seeing that light source because it is powerful enough for you to see. No light travels anywhere after the event. You either see it or you don't. I've got to keep it at 15. Good talking to you, Joe. Fear is obviously not a factor for you. Pick up the phone, Joe. Help me expose this absurdity that is finite light, mate. Seriously. Laters.